The Bible is filled with stories. Many of these stories include prophecies, messages about what will happen in the future. A prophecy is not simply a prediction. It is often a message from God, spoken through a prophet. Sometimes it warns people about what will happen if they do not change their ways. Other times it brings hope, promising better days ahead. All through the Bible, prophets like Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Daniel speak about things to come. These messages are not always easy to understand. Some are clear and direct. Others use visions, dreams, and symbols to pass along their message. Why do prophecies matter? For many believers, prophecies show that God is involved in history. They show that there is a bigger plan, even when things seem confusing. But sometimes it seems like a prophecy does not come true, and that can be puzzling. To understand why some prophecies appear to fail, we must look closer. The Bible is more than just words on a page. It is a collection of stories, history, poetry, and wisdom, all shaped by times and cultures long ago. When reading the Bible, context is everything. The world of the Bible is very different from our world today. Customs, languages, and ways of thinking have changed. Sometimes we miss the true meaning of a prophecy because we do not understand its background. Prophecies were often given in specific situations. Maybe a king was making a bad choice, or a city was doing evil things. The prophet's words were meant for real people living at a certain time. What those people did next could affect what happened. Understanding the story and history around a prophecy helps us see its true meaning. Take, for example, a prophecy against a city. If the people change their ways, the prophecy may not happen as first spoken. This does not mean the prophet was wrong. It means the prophecy was a warning. This is why we must read carefully. We must ask, who is speaking? To whom? What was happening at the time? Only by answering these questions can we make sense of what the prophet meant. One of the most famous stories about a prophecy that did not happen is the story of Jonah and Nineveh. God told Jonah to go to Nineveh, a great city. Jonah was to tell the people that their city would be destroyed in 40 days because of their evil actions. Jonah did not want to go. After some trouble involving a big fish, he finally obeyed. He walked through the city and delivered God's message. The people of Nineveh listened. They were sorry for what they had done. Even the king wore sackcloth and sat in ashes to show his sorrow. Because the people turned from their evil ways, God changed his mind. He did not destroy Nineveh. Jonah was surprised and even upset, but God explained that he cared about the people and the animals living in the city. This story shows that some prophecies are warnings. They are not set in stone. When people change, so can the future. God's mercy is as important as his warnings. Another example comes from the life of King Hezekiah. Hezekiah was a good king, but he became very sick. The prophet Isaiah visited him and said, "Set your house in order. You will die. You will not recover." This was a clear prophecy of death. Hezekiah was heartbroken. He prayed with tears, asking God to remember his faithfulness. Isaiah had not even left the palace when God sent him back with a new message. "I have heard your prayer. I will add 15 years to your life." The prophecy was changed. Hezekiah's story teaches us that God listens. The first prophecy was serious, but Hezekiah's prayer made a difference. God decided to give him more time. This shows that even when a prophecy sounds certain, it can still change. This story reminds us that God's plans are not always fixed. Human choices, prayers, and actions can play a role in what happens next. Not all prophecies are warnings that can be changed. Some are predictions of what will happen, no matter what. One clear example is the prophecy Jesus made about Peter. At the Last Supper, Jesus told his disciples that they would all run away when he was arrested. Peter said, "Even if everyone else leaves, I never will." But Jesus replied, "Before the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times." Peter could not believe it. Later that night, just as Jesus said, Peter denied knowing him 3 times. When he heard the rooster crow, Peter remembered Jesus' words and wept bitterly. This prophecy came true exactly as spoken. Peter's story shows that some prophecies are direct predictions. They are not warnings, and people may not be able to avoid them. Still, even here, the story is about more than failure. Peter's tears show his sorrow, and later, Jesus forgives him. Sometimes readers notice that certain prophecies do not happen as expected. This honestly can cause confusion or doubt. Did the prophet get it wrong? Was God's message mistaken? Or is there another explanation? There are many reasons why a prophecy might seem to fail. Sometimes we misunderstand the original meaning. Other times we forget the role of human choice or God's mercy. Context, as we have seen, is very important. Without it, we may judge too quickly. In other cases, the prophecy may have been about something much bigger than first imagined. It might point to a future event far beyond the people's own time. Or it might use symbols that are not easy to understand. The Bible invites us to ask questions. It invites us to look deeper and not settle for easy answers. When a prophecy seems to fail, maybe it is calling us to think, to pray, and to learn more. Some prophecies in the Bible are conditional. This means that what happens depends on how people respond. The story of Jonah is a good example. If the people of Nineveh had not changed, the city would have been destroyed. Their actions mattered. God often sends warnings to give people a chance to turn back. These warnings are not meant to punish, but to give hope. When people change, God's plans can change too. This makes prophecy a living conversation between God and humanity. Conditional prophecy shows that we are not just puppets in a story. What we do matters. Our choices, our prayers, and our hearts can change the course of history. This idea can be comforting, but also challenging. It means we have responsibility. It also means that God's mercy is always possible, even when things seem hopeless. Not all prophecies use plain language. Some use symbols, dreams, or visions. These can be hard to understand. The books of Daniel and Revelation are full of strange beasts, numbers, and images. These symbols had special meaning for people at the time. If we take every symbol literally, we may misunderstand the prophecy. For example, a beast might stand for a kingdom, not an animal. A number might mean a period of time, not just a simple count. Learning about the history and culture behind these symbols helps us see what the prophecy really means. It is like solving a puzzle. Each piece gives us a better picture of the message. Symbolic language reminds us that prophecy is often about more than just facts. It is about ideas, feelings, and hopes. It asks us to look beyond the surface. Finally, some prophecies have more than one meaning. They may come true in different ways, at different times. A prophecy about a king or a nation long ago might also point to something in the future. For example, some prophecies in the Old Testament seem to be about events in Israel's history. Later, Christians saw these same prophecies as pointing to Jesus. This is called double fulfillment. The prophecy has layers. The meaning grows deeper as time goes on. This shows that biblical prophecy is not just about telling the future. It is about helping people understand their lives and their world. It connects the past, the present, and the future in ways we might not expect. In the end, failed prophecies may teach us the most. They show us the power of mercy, the importance of our choices, and the mystery of God's ways. Prophecy, like life, is full of surprises.